News Central TV. I'm Darshan Usman. The top stories this hour. President Tinubu vows to reclaim forests from terrorists. Serap Editors Guild demand end to Cybercrimes Act. Away from Nigeria, Gabon's ex-junta chief Oligui has been sworn in as president after a landslide victory at the polls. Details shortly. Let's begin with security matters, where President Bola Tinubu says his government remains fully committed to reclaiming forested and ungoverned areas from terrorists, kidnappers, and other criminal elements across the country. Addressing elders and leaders of Katsina State during a state dinner at the government house on Friday night, the president announced that advanced surveillance tools and modern technology will be deployed to strengthen the fight against insecurity, including banditry and terrorism. In a statement released Saturday by his Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, the president also spoke of encouraging signs in the nation's economy, crediting recent policy reforms for spurring early signs of recovery. President Tinubu further pledged support for victims of terrorism, promising assistance to help them build, rebuild, and reclaim their lives. The president's remarks come amidst ongoing security operations across several states as communities continue to call for sustained government action to ensure lasting peace. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has pledged stronger collaboration with the Katsina State government to boost agricultural mechanization and food security across the state. President Tinubu made this pledge during his first official visit to Katsina State, where he commissioned the state's newly built Agricultural Mechanization Center and a 24-kilometer dual carriageway. He described mechanized farming as a vital investment, assuring residents of the federal government's commitment to their progress. Jamil Mabay tells us more.
A historic welcome for President Tinubu in Katsina. His first official visit since assumption of office. Despite security challenges, residents turned out in large numbers to get a glimpse of the president. Joined by Governors Babagana Zulum, Obasani, APC Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje, and other dignitaries.
I want to congratulate
President Tinubu praised Governor Ratner's achievement in 2 years.
you. Are seeing the result. With strong determination and great effort that you have committed into the programs of rebuilding Katsina State, you will not walk alone.
He commissioned the new Agricultural Mechanization Center equipped with 400 tractors, 10 harvesters, and 6,000 solar-powered pumps to boost productivity.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, Katsina State is an agrarian state and most of our people depend on agriculture for their livelihood. We have over 450,000 small farmers in the state with an average land size of 2.5 hectares, most of whom really rely on government to support to produce profitably and sustainably.
What we are commissioning is effort to banish hunger, commitment to food sovereignty, great empowerment for our people, small and large-scale farmers.
At a banquet, Governor Ratner reiterated the state's commitment to tackling insecurity with federal backing.
The only thing that is lacking, they don't have superior weapons. They are using pop action and the bandits are using AK-47. If there should be any collaboration between our community watch along with the Nigerian army and the police, it could have made the job much easier and it will support and help our people. Your Excellency, we need your support in that direction.
In Katsina, for News Central, Jamil Mabai.
The House of Representatives Committee on Public Petitions has summoned the governors of Benue and Zamfara States, Hyacinth Alia and Dauda Lawal, along with their respective state assemblies in response to escalating insecurity in the two states. The summons followed the petition from civil rights group Guardians of Democracy and Rule of Law, which called on the House to resume the constitutional responsibilities of both state assemblies, citing a failure to address the deteriorating security situation. The parties have been scheduled to appear before the committee on Thursday, May 8th, to defend their roles in addressing the crisis. Committee Chairman Mike Etaba signed the summons, stating that the parties are fully aware of the issues at hand. He added that the committee's objective is to uphold the rule of law and promote transparency in the handling of threats to public safety. In the meantime, Benue State has for some time remained in the news for the wrong reasons, a state that can be said to be under siege due to continued attacks on communities allegedly by armed herders. Now, with several communities sacked, the impact of this lingering farmer-herder crisis is pushing the state to the brink, as several of the predominantly agrarian communities are now dislodged and unable to take advantage of the farming season. News Central Sagir Ibrahim recently visited some of the affected communities in Benue to uncover the stories behind the headlines.
Benue State is known as Nigeria's food basket. However, there are growing concerns that it may gradually be losing that reputation. Attacks on agrarian communities across several local government areas in the state have left many farmers displaced and afraid to return to their farms for fear of being attacked or even killed. Ukum and Logo local governments in Sankera are the most recently attacked, with the death toll, according to official figures, reaching 56, the highest in many months. During our visit to Katsina Ala, also in the Sankera axis, drivers at the Katsina Ala Zakibian Park describe the economic toll the attacks are having on their businesses.
We have issue of security. That is one of our major problems here. Because people are now traveling out. They don't have access to come to market due to all insecurity. That is why this road is always quiet like this. If there is enough security that can guide us, can guide farmers to do work and bring things to the market, there will be enough product here in Katsina Ala.
My vehicle is parked there because of the problem we're having, the challenges of the problem we're having here. And there is no passenger because of the crisis. And people in the villages are not able to move because they are all packed, bundled in the one place, because they can't go back to their various places because of the crisis. And some of us that used to apply the road were afraid of being killed by those bad guys on the way. And the road also is very bad. Coupled with that, things are becoming very tough.
With reported attacks also in Katsina Ala, Kega Ove and Musa Vange from Shika village lament the lack of access to their farms for the farming season. They say that they are afraid of being attacked and appeal to government for quick intervention. The big problem we have here in Sankera is the herdsmen. We can't go to our farms because anytime we try, they attack and kill our people right there on the farm. The herdsmen come at night and kill many people while they are sleeping. My family and I have been forced to leave our home, and now we are staying in town. I want to beg President Bola Tinubu to hear our cry and help us. We need security because right now we can't go to our farms. If we try to go back home, the herdsmen will kill us. Sometimes officials come only after many people have already died. What usually happens is security will come during the day, walk around and then leave. At night, after they are gone, the herdsmen return and attack our people again. From Katsina Ala to Kwande and then to Bachon village located in Jatoka district, many residents have fled their communities following attacks by gunmen. With only a few villagers returning, many say they now tend to their farms only during the day and leave before nightfall for fear of further attacks.
We are finding it very difficult even to sleep and even to stay here. It is this week that you can see most of us in this environment, because normally if you come here, they will still begin to shoot and start shooting the guns whenever they see any person.
We are afraid of it. We cannot even go close to the river bank, and that is our own matrimonial home that which our great parents live. Now, we are asking the president that they should even narrate it so that even the international communities will help us. But Nigerian government, we think Nigerian government is not doing something better for the community. I'm not even blaming them. I knew they can help us. So I'm pleading that they should help us so that we live friendly.
District Head of Jatoka, Muiti Simon Bave, describes the situation as desperate for him and his people, calling for improved security as the few personnel available are not enough.
No person is going to farm till today. We are here in Jatoka here, about 4 districts are here, this place, come and hang out themselves in Jatoka here. If we move about this wire load, this is the Kashimbra load, going to Taraba State. If we go about 4 kilometers, you can't move from 4 kilometers, you alone. Let the security people will be accompany you to go there. Our people are desperate. Let him add security here more. They'll call about 500, 200 ones to come and attack us. The army are here, but they're not enough.
According to Governor Hyacinth Alia, 6 local governments in the state remain under heavy attacks by suspected armed herders. This has crippled farming activities in many parts of the state and could negatively affect the state's economy. In Benue, for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
Now you can watch out for the full documentary on the aftermath of the attacks on some Benue communities, according to the findings by News Central. Now, still on security matters, suspected Boko Haram insurgents have reportedly attacked the 27 Task Force Brigade, Bunigari, in Gujba Local Government Area of the state. Now, this is coming less than 48 hours after the Northeast governors held its 11th forum meeting in Damaturu, the Yobe state capital. The residents of Bunigari said that the insurgents who came in the early hours of Saturday targeted the military base. The insurgents had in the last few weeks attacked military formations, destroyed cell culverts along Goniri Road, as well as abducted individuals along the Damaturu-Bunigari-Biu Road. The officers and men of the Nigerian police have vacated the official residence of the Galadi Mankano located in Galadanchi, Gwale Local Government Area of Kano State. Now, the security personnel initially laid siege of the residence following a parallel coronation of 2 rival Galadi Mankano by rival emirs Aminu Ado Bayero and Muhammad Sanusi II. News Central correspondent in Kano reports that after several negotiations and also interventions, the police vacated the residence, allowing the Emir Sanusi-backed Galadi Mankano Alhaji Manir Sanusi Bayero to assume duty at the official residence of the Galadi Mankano after his turbaning ceremony by His Highness Khalifa Muhammadu Sanusi Sarkin Kano on Friday. He is currently receiving homage from loved ones and well-wishers. Now, to help make sense of this story, we're joined by News Central correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu, who is live at the residence of the Galadi Mankano Alhaji Manir Sanusi. Hello, Emmanuel. Please go ahead and tell us the latest developments in the refreshed clash by the 2 emirs in Kano.
Yeah, good afternoon from Kano. Right now, I'm right in front of the official residence of the Galadi Mankano here in Galadanchi here in Kano, Gwale Local Government Area of the state. And of course, as you can see behind me, the place is free. The police officers are no longer there. And of course, everybody is excited that there's no longer tension. And I'm here with a gentleman who is part of the family, who is part of the community, and I want to hear from him. Yeah, Governor Kinta. Yawa, salamu alaikum. Sunan kifa. Sunana Bashir Aliyu Galadanci. Yawa, Bashir Aliyu Galadanci. Za a gaya mana ya kake ji da aka samu ɗan sassauta, aka ɗan sassauta ba hayaniya polisawa ta shi kuma shi galabi ne ya shiga ya kike ji yanzu mun wannan abu da aka mun jira yi sosai mun yi abu akan yani farin ciki wasu ba su goyi bayan haka ba to hakan da aka mu ba kuma ba ne sai muka fa wallahi ubangiji ba ya ce za su da mu.
I apologize for the quality, that's the audio quality. We'll try and reconnect with him at a later time. Away from that, Anambra State Police Command has foiled a kidnap attempt in Neni, Anaocha Local Government Area of the state. The command's public relations officer, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, who disclosed this in a statement, said the operatives also rescued 3 victims, including a husband and wife. He said the command's operatives attached to the Neni division responded swiftly to a distress call along Okacha Junction at about 8:45 p.m. on Saturday and successfully thwarted the kidnap attempt. Ikenga added that a joint security force comprising the military, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and local vigilantes was supporting the police in an ongoing operation to apprehend the suspects who were reportedly armed with sophisticated weapons. We take a break now. When we come back, we'll tell you how Peter Obi's strong ally, Osailoka Obaze, dumps Labour Party. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now, elder statesman and Afenifere leader Chief Ayo Adebanjo has been laid to rest in Isonyalgbo, Ogun State. The funeral drew dignitaries from across the country, all gathered to honor a man who remained steadfast in his principles till the very end. News Central's Israel Eferobo was there and now reports.
The quiet town of Isonyalgbo near Djibouti swelled with emotions and reverence today as Nigeria laid to rest one of its most principled voices, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, Yoruba nationalist, elder statesman, and uncompromising advocate of justice and true federalism. Inside the historic St. Philip's Anglican Church, where the final burial service was held, dignitaries, political leaders, traditional rulers, and citizens from all walks of life gathered to pay the final respects.
Today, with this sense of appreciation to God, we are here assembled in this holy sanctuary of God to celebrate the purposeful life of our Ayo Adebanjo. And I want to say for this, for 1 year, I have a place of God, maintain close relationship with Papa Ayo Adebanjo. Whose body is before us this particular morning.
Chief Adebanjo, who passed away peacefully on February 14, 2025 at the age of 97, was one of the last surviving titans of Nigeria's political struggle and a long-term leader of the pan-Yoruba social political group Afenifere. Tribute poured in not only for his decades of political advocacy, but for his role as a moral compass in a country often shaken by political and ethnic divisions and also corruption.
Chief Adebanjo was a good man who did everything in his power to ensure the triumph of justice, fairness, and progress. As Nigeria continues towards its democratic consolidation and national restructuring, the life of Chief Ayo Adebanjo remains a timeless blueprint, one defined by courage, conviction, and unbending integrity.
The funeral service was marked by hymns, scripture readings, and moments of silence as family members, clergy, and associates celebrated a man many called the last of a noble generation.
He was an elder statesman, a man that meant different things to different people. You can say it was controversial, you can say it was difficult, but you also will know that he loves the country.
Ayo Adebanjo is man of many parts. He's a humanist. He's one who has come, he conquered. He's one who has integrity in all that he does.
Though the man is gone, many believe his legacy will continue to shape conversations around justice, restructuring, and the future of the Nigerian Federation.
As Chief Ayo Adebanjo is today laid to rest, Nigeria also laid to rest, a voice that never wavered. It has called for justice, equity, and true federalism. From St. Philip's Anglican Church, Isonya Ogboyi Ijebu, Ogun State, for News Central, Israel Ife-Robo.
Amid swirling rumors of his arrest by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, former Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, has broken his silence. Now, in a statement posted late Saturday on his official X handle, Kyari described the reports as clear mischief and a calculated attempt to discredit his name and service. The former oil chief, who led the NNPCL for nearly 6 years and spent 34 years in the organization, said he is currently enjoying what he called a well-deserved rest following the recent dissolution of the company's board and management. Kyari reiterated his openness to respond to any lawful inquiry about his tenure, insisting his record reflects transparency, respect for institutions, and accountability before both the public and God. He also urged the media to show restraint and verify their information, warning that the spread of false narratives could harm national interests and Nigeria's global image. Away from that, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, and the Nigerian Guild of Editors are demanding an immediate end to the use of the Cybercrimes Act to crack down on journalists, activists, and other citizens expressing their opinions online. In a joint statement signed by SERAP's Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, and the Guild's General Secretary, Dr. Iyobosa Owojiren, the groups labeled the law as draconian, warning that its continued application undermines democratic principles and violates both constitutional rights and international human rights standards. The organizations are also calling for the immediate release of individuals currently detained under the Cybercrimes Act nationwide. They insist that in a democratic society, authorities must tolerate peaceful dissent and uphold press freedom, vital tools for holding leaders accountable to their oaths and promises. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has criticized claims of electoral reforms by the current administration, saying that the ruling All Progressives Congress is not committed to ensuring its conclusion. The former Vice President, while speaking at the inaugural conference of the Nigerian Youths for Atiku, says that the All Progressives Congress will attempt taking advantage of the deficiencies of nation's electoral act to win the next elections, but urged Nigerian youths present to work towards surmounting this seeming challenge. He says young citizens must stand for what they believe and discard incompetent and untruthful politicians. Now, others present, including the former Deputy Governor of Ekiti State, tasked the youths present to stand behind the former Vice President, saying that he is a model of transparency and honesty.
We have a long way to go. There are challenges, but you must dedicate yourselves to confronting those challenges. If you don't dedicate yourself to confronting those challenges, you have no future. When we witness an improvement in our electoral process during Buhari's time, and he knew that if he signed that amendment, it could affect his re-election, he decided not to sign. He left it until he secured his second term before signing the amendments. Now we have a similar situation. There are amendments in the pipeline, but I don't see this president signing those amendments even if they are passed by the National Assembly, because he wants to exploit the loopholes.
All over Nigeria, people who have aspired for different seats, till today, we're still on the Atiku mandate. We can't be tempted. We can't be bought. There's no amount of money they can give us that will make us drop there.
Oseloka Obaze, a key ally of Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, has resigned his membership of the party. Obaze disclosed this in a letter addressed to LP chairman in Tochukwu Ward 406, Anaambra Local Government Area in Awka on Sunday. Obaze, a former United Nations diplomat, was the secretary to Anambra government under Obi and had worked closely with him as an advisor and chieftain of the party until his resignation from the Labour Party. He said his decision was to express his disapproval and protest the conduct of the April 5th governorship primary election of the party in Anambra. Obaze also cited the leadership crisis in Labour Party at the national level and the refusal of leaders of the party to harmonize or reconcile the Julius Abure and Senator Neni Usman factions. He, however, did not disclose his next political moves. At the recently concluded Northeast Creativity and Innovation Summit 2025 in Maiduguri, young innovators were encouraged to embrace resilience as a key to sustainable growth. Now, the summit, themed Step Out and Innovate, brought together over 300 participants from across the region to the University of Maiduguri to explore strategies for sustainable development. News Central's Umar Kirawa has more.
A hope of networking and collaboration, the Northeast Creativity and Innovation Summit 2025 united young minds from across the region, fostering partnerships across various sectors. Participants engage in panel discussions, mentorship sessions, and collaborative projects, creating a platform to share ideas, experiences, and resources.
Funding is a big challenge for a lot of startups, but I think more than funding, some of the things that startups need, and especially young people now in the Northeast, are the technical abilities to be able to identify the skills that they need to grow, and then the networks and the platforms and other resources to be able to scale up their ideas.
There's a lot of hope already. From what I've seen in the Northeast, if we can get this quantum of innovations and inventions in the Northeast at this time, when we're still troubled, poverty is still to some extent unemployment, and people are still gearing towards innovation. My goodness, the future of the Northeast innovation industry is bright.
Keynote speakers underscored the value of perseverance and adaptability in driving innovation, especially in regions grappling with socio-economic and environmental challenges.
We must inspire the private sector to co-invest in solutions, not just charity. We are tired of this charity. Please come and co-invest so that our brightest ideas will be transformed into something reasonable that will benefit humanity.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the entire federal government recognizes that the youth of the Northeast represents our greatest asset and the brightest hope. Government alone cannot drive innovation. It requires a vibrant ecosystem of academia, of private sector, of development partners, and civil society working collaboratively toward a shared goals.
A highlight of the summit was the innovation competition, where participants pitched their sustainable solutions to a panel of judges. Winners received mentorship and support to scale up their ideas.
Today, we have seen the benefit of the free sunlight that we have been enjoying. For 5-10 years to come, whether we like it or not, we must adopt innovation and move with it, or we'll be left behind. It is even late now.
If we can, start from the grassroots, from the secondary school level up to the university level or tertiary level, and I believe the youth that are out of school, maybe all the youth that are charlatans, all the youth that they don't have a sense of belonging, they can come to BIDA to look for this kind of a space to train themselves and to learn.
The summit placed strong emphasis on sustainable development, encouraging young innovators to integrate eco-friendly and socially impactful practices into their projects. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
The Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, in collaboration with the National Union of Road Transport Workers in Abuja, have slashed the transport fares of all PCNGI registered public transport vehicles by 40% for residents within the federal capital. The PCNGI, during the flag-off ceremony of the initiative at the Area 1 Motor Park in Abuja, says that the scheme is expected to ease the transportation costs for residents of the capital in line with President Bola Tinubu's directive. It says that converted vehicles have signed up for the scheme and all their routes from the Area 1 Motor Park to other locations in the FCT will henceforth experience a reduction in their fares.
The intention is to, as much as possible, reduce the price of transportation for the general public. We have worked hand in hand with the National Union of Road Transport Workers. We have converted a lot of their vehicles, and based on the agreement that we have with them, of course, is for them to reduce the prices for the general public so that the effect of the fuel subsidy that was taken off, the burden will be reduced on Nigerians.
Vehicles that have been converted, we have a price tag written on the vehicles so that you as a passenger, if you are going to Gwagwalada, Nyanya, you will notice that this vehicle is being converted and this is the price tag. You don't need to ask anybody, you don't need to suffer yourself. And any driver, we are in charge of the drivers because they are our driving members and we are in charge. We make sure that all the members, all the passengers enjoy this benefit. As long as we are giving that benefit, we also want the members to enjoy it in order to make sure that Mr. President succeeds in this program that he has launched.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has apologized to President Bola Tinubu and First Lady Oluremi Tinubu after women of the state staged a walkout during an empowerment event in Port Harcourt. Now, Wike condemned the incident as a show of shame, calling it an insult to the President and First Lady. The walkout occurred after the women, reportedly replaced on the program list by Wike loyalists, left the venue. In a statement issued from China through his aide, Wike accused Governor Fubara of sponsoring the disruption and acting against peace efforts. He, however, urged Fubara to be honest about his intentions and stop undermining reconciliation attempts. A Niger Delta activist, Ankyo Briggs, however, strongly condemned the attempt by a wife of Rivers State sole administrator to assume the role of the First Lady of Rivers State. Meanwhile, the Rivers State officer of the Renewed Hope Initiative has dismissed claims from the FCT Minister's Media Office linking Governor Siminalayi Fubara to disruptions at the Renewed Hope Initiative Empowerment Program held in Port Harcourt. The office clarified that Governor Fubara, though on vacation, provided full support for the program, which was organized under the leadership of First Lady Oluremi Tinubu. The event proceeded successfully until a brief disruption during the speech by Mrs. Teresa Ibas, wife of the Rivers State administrator, whom attendees rejected as First Lady of the state. Now, the Renewed Hope Initiative office described the allegations linking the governor to the disruption as false and politically motivated, urging the public to disregard them. It reaffirmed the governor's strong backing for women's empowerment and praised the program's overall success. Paramilitary forces launch first attack on Port Sudan. We'll tell you more after the break. Join us again. Away from Nigeria, Gabon's Bryce Oligui Nguema, whose coup ended 55 years of rule by the Bongo family, has been sworn in as president before a packed stadium and more than a dozen African leaders. Now, the former junta leader, who won nearly 95% of the vote in last month's election, was sworn in for a 7-year term after 19 months of military rule since he toppled Ali Bongo in August 2023. 16 African heads of state graced the inauguration ceremony at a stadium north of the capital, Libreville, with supporters decked out in T-shirts and flags bearing Oligwi's likeness, packing the 40,000 capacity venue. Leaders in attendance include Gambia's Adama Barrow, Senegal's Bassirou Diomaye Faye, Djibouti's Ismail Omar Guelleh, and Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo from Equatorial Guinea.
Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema, élu président de la République, m'engage devant Dieu, nos ancêtres et le peuple gabonais à conserver toutes mes forces à son bien-être.
Je me suis déplacée aujourd'hui, c'est pour venir voir effectivement ce pourquoi j'ai voté le 12 avril. Et maintenant, ce que j'attends du président, c'est qu'il continue ce qu'il a commencé, le bon travail qu'il a commencé depuis le début du 30 août jusqu'à maintenant. C'est tout ce que j'attends de lui. Et maintenant, il peut innover dans certaines autres choses, mais le meilleur est qu'il continue dans le bon sens.
Sudan's Rapid Support Forces on Sunday carried out drone strikes on key military and civilian targets in Port Sudan, according to the country's army. Now, army spokesman Nabil Abdullah confirmed that RSF suicide drones targeted the Osman Digna Air Base, a goods warehouse and civilian infrastructure in the city. The RSF, led by Mohammed Hamdan Daglo, has intensified its use of drones in recent weeks after losing significant ground, including much of the capital, Khartoum, in March. Now, Sunday's strikes, which also hit the airport in nearby Kassala, signaled a dangerous expansion in the scope of RSF attacks, reaching far beyond the traditional front lines of the conflict. The brutal war between the RSF and Sudan's regular army, commanded by de facto leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, has already claimed tens of thousands of lives and displaced more than 13 million people. It is the first time the eastern coastal city home to the army-backed government has come under direct attack since the war began in April 2023. In Mali's capital, Bamako, hundreds of demonstrators gathered Saturday in a show of resistance following a call for a broad coalition of political parties. Now, the protest comes amid growing fears that the military junta that is ruling is preparing to dissolve political parties altogether. This wave of concern was triggered by the junta's decision on Wednesday to repeal a key charter that outlined the creation and operations of political parties, a move legal experts believe could be a precursor to banning them outright. The decision follows a recent national consultation led by the junta, during which participants recommended the dissolution of existing parties and the introduction of stricter regulations for forming new ones. Despite a tightening grip on dissent and a rapidly shrinking civic space, political groups are voicing defiance, warning that the latest actions could mark a further slide away from the democratic governance. The news returns after the break. Stay with us. In other news from around the world, Yemen's Houthi rebels have claimed responsibility for a missile attack on Israel's Ben Gurion International Airport, saying it was launched in solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza. In a statement Sunday, the Iran-backed group said the hypersonic ballistic missile hit its target, warning international airlines to avoid the airport, now deemed unsafe. Israeli police confirmed a missile impact near the airport, while the military said several interception attempts were made. The attack briefly halted air traffic. The Houthis, who control much of Yemen, have launched repeated strikes on Israel and Red Sea shipping since the Gaza war began in October 2023 following Hamas's attack. It remains unclear if the impact came from the missile or an interceptor.
الصاروخية في القوات المسلحة اليمنية عملية عسكرية نوعية استهدفت مطار بن غوريون في منطقة يافا المحتلة، وذلك بصاروخ باليستي فرط صوتي، وقد أصاب هدفه بنجاح بفضل الله. وكان من نتائج العملية ما يلي: فشل المنظومات الاعتراضية الأمريكية والإسرائيلية في اعتراضه، هروب أكثر من 3 ملايين صهيوني إلى الملاجئ، توقف حركة المطار بشكل كامل.
Turkey's main opposition leader, Özgür Özel, was slapped by an individual following a ceremony honoring the late Kurdish MP Siri Süreyya Önder. Now, the incident occurred in public and has since sparked widespread condemnation. Despite the assault, the CHP leader struck a conciliatory tone urging unity and non-violence. The motive behind the attack remains unclear and authorities are investigating. However, Özel's statement emphasized a commitment to dialogue over division at a time when political tensions in Turkey remain high. The assailant was quickly detained by security forces at the scene.
Bu saldırıyı siyaset kurumuna yapılmış bir saldırı olarak görüyorum. Bundan sonra öyle efendim şu partinin mensubuymuş, bu partinin mensubuymuş, ne çıkarsa çıksın arkasından sivil siyaseti savunmak, şiddeti dışlamak, konuşmak ve birlikte çalışmak mecburiyetindeyiz. Bu partinin genel başkanlarına suikast girişimleri oldu. Atatürk oldu, İnönü oldu, Ecevit oldu, Sayın Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu oldu.
In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria recorded a profit of 38.8 billion naira in 2024, thus bouncing back from a staggering 1.15 trillion naira loss in 2023. Now, this, according to its newly released financial statements, said the turnaround was driven by 1.89 trillion naira in revaluation gains and a sharp rise in income from financial investments. The Apex Bank also earned 12.9 trillion naira in other income, more than triple the previous year figure. However, the CBN continues to incur significant losses from derivatives, raising concerns over risk management despite the improved financial position. That's all at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. We told you that President Tinubu vows to reclaim forests from terrorists. We also told you that Serap Editors Guild demand end to Cybercrimes Act. Finally, you heard that Gabon's ex-junta chief, Oligi, has been sworn in as president after a landslide victory at the polls. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.